What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm out here in the shop today doing a few things to my truck. Got me a little list of stuff I need to do. Most of it happened this week. Had a little weird coolant leak show up first part of the week, and I say weird because it's still full of coolant now, but there was definitely coolant leaking out on the ground. And what happened was I had slept about 20 minutes from where I was delivering, and I got up, cranked the truck up. I'd cut it off the night before. I got up, cranked the truck up, walked around, did my pre-trip. Everything looked great. Got in the truck, drove 20 miles or whatever it was to the place I was delivering to. Get out, you know, everything was fine, left the truck running. I go in, hand them my paperwork, I walk back out, and as I walk back out, in front of the truck here on the ground, up under the radiator area, it's just like a 2-foot diameter puddle of coolant. And it was, I could see it just steadily dripping down. I was like, oh man, that's not good. And so I was like, well, better take a look at this. So I popped the hood, and when I popped the hood, I bent down here and I couldn't really see. There was coolant leaking all down there and I couldn't tell what was going on exactly. But I got to looking up here and I could see coolant leaking out of that coolant tank. And I don't know if you guys can see here, but the sensor, let's see if I can get the camera down there. The sensor, the coolant, low-level coolant sensor. The camera's really not wanting to focus there. I'll hold you guys over in here. Anyway, the sensor is unplugged because the stupid thing goes off all the time if you get a little bit low on coolant. So I always unplug them. I don't like listening to it. But anyways, I don't know if you can see that or not. Probably not. I can zoom on in there. There we go. Alright, so that's the bottom of the coolant tank, and you can see right there it's a little bit damp around that sensor. There was coolant coming out of that at a pretty steady trickle, and I was like, okay, well, that's not that bad, because you know, when the coolant tank gets low, it'll stop leaking. So I didn't too much worry about it, and I went ahead and picked up another load and went and delivered it, and said, well, I'll look at this weekend and figure out what's going on. So I pull it in here and to look at it, and to my surprise, it's still full of coolant. So it could not have lost that much. I don't know exactly where it was at originally. Maybe it was up here, because you know, coolant on the ground, a 2-foot diameter puddle, it may not actually be that much. But I don't know if it was just, it pressured up and squeezed out some of the rest. Maybe I need a new radiator cap on here. Not sure exactly what's going on there, but it seems fine at the moment. The other issue I had is my windshield wiper on the passenger side here, or the squirter, quit squirting, and I need to be able to clean my windshield with the bugs off of it. And check out that nice crack in that windshield. That windshield is 2 months old. Put a new windshield in here, I think it was the first week of January, and I think it was the first week of February, it got busted by a fuel hauler truck. He was merging on. I moved over into the left lane to allow him to merge on, and the second he merged on, I'd moved over, a rock came out from his trailer tire right in the middle of my brand new windshield, busted it. So nothing I could do really. But I guess he had just delivered, either he just loaded fuel at a gravel yard, or he just delivered to a gas station, had a gravel yard, and was getting on the interstate. And as I say, I moved over to the left lane, and that rock came out at an angle from his tire. I don't know how it come out at an angle, but it did, and hit right in the center of my windshield. But anyway, we got to figure out what's going on with the windshield wiper. I don't know if it's these nozzles get stopped up sometime, or if it is coming hooked down there or plugged up in the hose. Just gonna look at the hose. See, it's got a filter here. It's supposed to keep the trash out of that, but I've had them get plugged up before. So I'm gonna look and see what's going on with that, and get that where it's working again, because I really like my windshield squirter to work. It's required to work anyway, but a lot of people don't ever use them. I use mine frequently to keep the bugs off. I find it does a good job if you spray it every so often when you're stopped at the red lights and stuff. I find it does really good at keeping the bugs from getting built up on there. Also, another thing is the truck stops now, when you go to, a lot of them does not have the things to wash your window with because people steal them. And if you do find one that has the things, they're usually so nasty because people think that's there to wash your truck with in the fuel aisle for some reason. So half the time it's a waste of time to even try to use them. I use them on the side windows sometimes and stuff, but I like to keep my squirter working so that you keep windshield washer fluid in there so that I can keep the bugs off the windshield. So the other thing is I picked up some new work lights here at Tractor Supply. I don't know how good these are, but they feel really heavy, and they were kind of expensive. They were 40 bucks a piece. These work lights here came off of Amazon, and they were like, I don't know, $10 a piece. And they lasted a year and a half, but they've quit working. And for some reason, I don't know, it's probably just coincidence. These here came from Tractor Supply several years ago. These was on my other truck, and they no longer work. I just left them on the headache rack. I didn't bother pulling them off. But for whatever reason, the lights that have the frosted lenses on them, I've had really bad luck with them. And they're usually thinner and lighter. And thinner, I mean by the depth of them this way. And those up there, I paid like $65 a piece for. Those up there on the headache rack. These here were like $10 or $12 a piece, whatever they were. But just in general, from my experience, I've had really poor luck out of the lights with the frosted lenses not holding up. And like I say, I don't know if that's coincidence or what, but I bought several of the work lights that have the clear lenses on them, and they're deeper, and they seem to hold up better, and they're heavier. And I'm not going to open that right now, I don't believe. I'll show you the ones on my tractor over here. And they're more like a light bar, these over here that I have on my tractor. And see, these have clear lenses, and they're thicker and have a bigger heat sink in the back of them. So I don't know if that's just a coincidence or what, but it just seems to me that the ones with the clear lenses are usually deeper. I don't know if they're using a different LED or what the situation is there, but that's just the luck that I've had with them. So the other problem I have is I have a flat tire. Well, it ain't all the way flat, but it's low. Listen. Can you tell which one's flat? Or almost flat? It's the inner one. Anyway, I checked it. It's got about 40 pounds in it. And I need to fix that. I don't know what it is to me and these flat tires. I just cannot keep windshields or tires. Two things I have problems with. All right, so I guess I'm gonna take a look at the windshield wiper squirter first. That's the most important at the moment. The coolant tank I was gonna look at first, but it's still full of coolant, and I'm not sure what the deal was with that. If it just had, that was the first warm day that we've had, and I don't know if it's, you know, the temperature came up and that I need to change that radiator cap. It's over pressurizing or what, and it just pushed some out. I'm going to take a look at that again in a minute, but for right now it's not leaking and it's full of coolant still, so I'm not sure what the deal was with that. I'm going to look at the the squirter, and then I'm going to mount my new lights on here because those come in handy. Really they're more handy in the winter time when the days are shorter than right now, but I got the truck in here. I'm going to go ahead and mount them on there because I bought the lights, and then we're going to get that tire fixed. And then I'll crank the truck up and let it run, and I'll look at this coolant tank deal, and then I need to wash this whole thing. So we're burning daylight, so let me get started. All right, guys, so I figured out the windshield squirter problem. That stupid little plastic thing that Volvo puts on there. I don't have one of them. I'm not going to get one of them. I'm going to cut the line off, drill a hole through here, cut the line off, put this union in there, just like I did the other side. Right there, and just like I did on my other truck, and never have any more problems with it after you do that. So that looks like a good spot there. Make sure you're not going to hit anything. cut the hose and splice it together. Alright guys, so that is the fix for that right there. Just make sure your hose don't get tangled up in your windshield washer linkage down there. And if, you know, it rubs through here, you can always replace the piece of hose. It's not that big a deal. I just don't have one of them things, and that's a quick, easy way of doing it to get my squirter back working. Alright guys, so I got it working, squirting again. For those of you who don't know, on these Volvos, there's 4 squirters on each one of those wiper blades. And those little eyelets on the squirter there, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, those little eyelets are adjustable. You take a paper clip or something real small and stick in there, and you can adjust those eyelets to make them spray kind of where you want them to spray on the window. And I find this really helpful to have that squirter, and every 2 or 3 hours, whenever I stop at a red light or something, while I'm sitting there waiting on traffic, waiting on the light to turn green, I'll just squirt these things a few times, and it keeps that windshield pretty clean if you don't let it build up on there to start with. And see, on the passenger side, there's some built up on there because that side wasn't working, but the driver's side is pretty clean. And these things hold about 2 gallons of windshield wiper fluid, so you can squirt for a while. Just a couple of quick squirts like that, a little bit along, and then let them wipe. A couple more squirts there. And like I say, if you do that, you know, every few hours you stop, just when you come to a red light or something, it works better. You try to do it going down the road, it gets all over your mirrors and it just makes a mess, but it doesn't hit where you want it to go anyways. But if you just wait till a red light or something and squirt it a little bit, it'll keep that windshield pretty clean. So we've got to add some more windshield washer fluid here. Still got some in it. It can't be very much because it's got a light that comes on to tell you when you're low on windshield washer fluid on these Volvos. And it came on the way home. I was trying to get the driver's side clean, and it was just spraying out everywhere over there on the passenger side. I guess that hose being off. And I don't really usually have to add all that much to this thing. Really, usually well, it depends on time of year. In the summer, when it's a whole lot of bugs on the road, about every 2 weeks. So about a gallon a week, I guess you go through. And as I say, it holds a couple gallons. But if it's winter time, you know, you might go a couple months. Bugs are not as bad. Maybe it holds 3 gallons. That's 2. It still has some in it. Looks like I'm going to have to go buy some more windshield washer fluid. That's my last gallon. Oh, it's full now. It must hold over 3 gallons. Anywho, that job's done. All right, guys, let's check out these work lights here. That's a nice looking light. You see how much thicker that is right there? That's a good couple of inches thick compared to the thinner ones up there. It's a lot thicker and it's a lot heavier. And it comes with this little pigtail where they just plug in. If you go with the same style light, wire this on your truck, if it does go out, you can unplug it, plug a new one in, I guess. So that's pretty neat. Wasn't expecting that. So we'll get that wired in. These here I'm going to have to cut loose up there, and I'll have to solder this on there and heat shrink it. That's the way I did them, but they don't have a plug on those. So I'll have to do that and then get this mounted up there in its place. These are 45 watt, so these are 5 watt LEDs. Those are 48 watt, but they use 3 watt LEDs, but there's more of them. There's a 16 in there. And 9 in here. I think that's right. So these are 5 watt and those are 3 watt. As I say, I've had better luck with these here, but they are more expensive. I don't know about this particular brand, but just the kind that has this style lens on it and stuff, and they're thicker and have a better heat sink, I've had better luck with. So we'll see how these hold up. I got these at Tractor Supply. I don't know if any of you guys have used any of them or had good luck or whatever, or bad luck. I suppose you can leave in the comments. But we'll get these stuck on here. We'll see how they do. All right, guys, figured I'd show a close-up of these lights here so you can see the difference in the two. How much thicker the one on the right that I'm putting on there is. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. But it is thicker and it is about twice as heavy. So these here are going in the garbage can. These are going on there. I got one of these already installed up here. So that's what they're going to look like when I get them on there. And it comes with a fuse if you want to use a fuse. The circuit on this is already has a fuse in the truck in there, so I'm not worried about that. So get this pigtail soldered on with some heat shrink as I did that one, and then if I ever have to replace them or whatever, it'll just be a plug and play deal. As long as they still have some of these, I may actually pick up an extra just to keep in stock. That way if one of them gets broke or goes out, I can just unplug it, unbolt it, stick it up there in like 5 minutes, 10 tops, and I'll be done. All right, so we got them bad boys mounted up there, one on each side over there. I'll have to wait till it gets dark in order to adjust them and set the alignment on them and get them shining exactly where I want. But that's going to be all that for right now. All right, guys, I got everything wrapped up. I got my tire fixed and everything. Just had a little nail in it, a little staple, end of a staple is what it looked like. Anyway, you see what the lights look like. I wanted to test them out and see what they look like in the dark. They are quite bright. I think them, the other ones were pretty bright. They just didn't last very long. But I think them there is going to do all right, hopefully. Walk over to this other side where it's completely dark at, or would be. I like them sticking out on the sides of the wings like that so that they shine down the side of the trailer. My last truck, I had them on the headache rack, and when you were loaded, they did you no good on the side of the trailer. Like this right here, they shine down the side, and you can see when you're strapping and tarping your load. And I got the truck kicked the other way just a little bit, but this one over here will be shining right at it. You can see how this one shines down the side, and adds a little light there when you're doing stuff. And I tried to tilt them down so that they're not blinding, you know, shining in people's eyes. I got them tilted down so that the beam is right about here in this area right here between the axles, if you can see that. They have to shine from this direction. You can see kind of the hot spot right there. It's right where the axle is at, and that'll help. And if you're backing up in a tight spot or whatever, close to something, or some of the places you go through, you know, where you can see your trailer at night, because I get loaded sometimes in the dark or unload in the dark, depending on the time of year it is. So that should really help out. I just hope they last longer than the other ones. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap the video up. I did not get around to washing my truck and trailer like I wanted to. So I got that on the list to do, I guess next weekend, or if I get a day during the week, I'll take care of it then. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.